What's up, guys? Back with All Ball Talk. We've been going over the Miami Ohio State game. We've gone over the Oregon Texas Tech game. We're going over the college football playoff games, and I'm giving you my predictions and things that I like in the game that I think will cause advantages and expose weaknesses. And so for this one, we're gonna go with the 2 o'clock, 2:30 game on New Year's Day, Alabama, Indiana. I think this will be a pretty interesting matchup. I think the public will probably be. I actually think there'll be more on Alabama. I haven't looked at anything yet, but I think Alabama's. I think they're not. They had a dominant win against Oklahoma. I think they have a good squad, and I'm excited to see how the game ends up because I think Indiana's a very talented team, but Bama, obviously, I think they have just as much talent. But honestly, for Indiana, I think that if they can make Simpson, if they can make him uncomfortable, like he was in that Georgia SEC championship game, and they can expose Ty Simpson's weaknesses because Alabama, they flat out don't have a run game. Like they have been running the ball so bad this year. Like, I think last game, I think it was 20 something total rushing yards. I mean that's absurd. Like you're telling me Alabama can't run the ball? They've been running the ball for years. They've had great running backs. And for some reason this year, just it hasn't been put together. I think the offensive line hasn't been as good as everybody thought. Caden Proctor hasn't really lived up to it. I think Parker Brailsford's been pretty good, but I have not been impressed with Alabama's offensive line. I think Alabama's offense could be much better this year. They have not been consistent, even though do have really good weapons. I think that I'm looking at my notes. I also think that Indiana, if they just play solid defense like they did against Ohio State, I think that Bama's offense is not very similar to Ohio State, but I think it's probably around the same caliber. Alabama's offense has not been good for probably the last like 5, 6 games of the season, and then they kind of caught fire against Oklahoma. So we don't really know. Like we're not really 100% sure on how everything's going to end up, but they looked good against Oklahoma. They weren't good for the back half of the season, so it should be interesting. Alabama's obviously still a good team. They still have talent and Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, and the freshman Brooks, Isaiah Horton. They haven't been running the ball well, but they can throw the ball. Like Ty Simpson at his best, he can be a really accurate quarterback and pretty much be the best version of a game manager. So I think that if Indiana, also this is Indiana offense. I think if they can just connect on throws to the intermediate levels, they don't need to generate as many explosives because I trust the Indiana defense, which is top 10 nationally. I trust the Indiana defense to play very well against the Alabama offense. And I don't know. I just think that Alabama's defense has actually been really, really, really good this year. Like they've actually been pretty talented. Especially if they have LT Overton in this game, I think that Bama will definitely have a better than good shot at covering the spread or even winning or containing Mendoza. If they can, I know it's been a struggle for Alabama lately without LT Overton, but if they can generate a pass rush on Mendoza, like if they can get to him, he's not the most mobile guy. Like he can get out of the pocket, he can move, he can make throws off platform, but he's not Avery Johnson. Like he can't get out of the pocket at that kind of level. And so I'm excited to see how how Alabama performs because if you can get to Mendoza, I don't know if he can get flustered as much, but if you can create those negative plays against the offense and limit explosives, then it should be huge for them because Indiana, like that offense did not play very well against Ohio State. I think it was more of the Indiana defense playing amazing against Ohio State offense. Like so they showed that they can be contained. Like it's not an unstoppable offense. Like Indiana's good, has a good running game. It's not great, and Alabama, I'm interested to see how they defend it because the Indiana offense has an elite passing game within slightly above average run game. Like I think if they can defend the pass and get pressure on Mendoza, it should really alter the game because Indiana doesn't have a stable run game. Like I know Roman Hemby's been pretty good, but it's not, he's not Jeremiah Love back there, and I think you can get to him fairly easily. On the Alabama side, I think that again, if they make Mendoza uncomfortable, this is a huge, huge part of the game because if they can make Mendoza uncomfortable, it completely alters the game and his comfortability to stay in the pocket and just make throws. Because the whole year, Mendoza has been able to just kind of sit in the pocket. He makes those deep throws. He throws with very good accuracy. And he's obviously huge. He throws over to the middle of the field very well. But I think if the Alabama defense obviously can neutralize a little bit of the passing game, and I mean they have good cover corners, like they have a good secondary. They have a decent pass rush when LT Overton's in there. So I'm excited to see how it is. Alabama, on the other hand, if they can slow the game down, I think that would help a lot. Because if they can wear down the Indiana defense, if they can control clock, the game should be definitely more manageable. And if they can get the Indiana defense tired, maybe you can even get the run game started. But I think even more of a key will be if they can connect on explosive plays, because Indiana can be susceptible to explosive plays, and an Alabama team that is really good at generating them, like Ryan Williams can open downfield. Jeremy Bernard's really good after the catch. I don't know. Like I think that Alabama offense is. I think it's in the middle ground. I don't think they're as elite as they looked in the Oklahoma game, but I don't think they're as bad as they looked in the back half of the season. Like I think that they're more than capable of coming out and playing well against the Indiana defense. But other than that, I think that if they can establish a run game, like if Alabama comes out and they can actually run the ball with Jam Miller, it should open up Ty Simpson. And if they have the ability to open up Ty Simpson against the Indiana defense, it should be huge for them because Indiana's defense is obviously really good, and Ty Simpson's capable of carving them up, especially in the intermediate short levels. If they can get the ball to their playmakers, Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams and Brooks, it should make for an interesting game. I think this is another game. I think are a lot of really good defenses in the college ball playoff. I think this will probably be low scoring again. Alabama's defense is pretty good, and and Indiana's defense is obviously really good. But Alabama, I mean, both offenses are. I think one offense is 100% like not elite, but very, very above average. I think the other offense is above average. I think that Alabama's offense can. I think they have the ability to score against Indiana. Like I think it should be decently close. But I'm just interested to see like if Ty Simpson can play well, like I think that Alabama actually has a better shot than Indiana to win because Ty Simpson is the complete wild card. If the passing game is on, obviously, but this will be another low scoring game. I think that if Ty Simpson and those weapons can make a few big plays, they can win the game. Indiana is really good in offense and how they can wear down the Alabama defense. If Alabama's not creating a pass rush, if Alabama falls into the same trap they did in other games, I think that they'll be easily exploited by Indiana, and I think that Mendoza's going to carve them up from the pocket, and they'll move the ball no problem. So that's obviously the biggest fear, is that Surratt, Omar Cooper, Charlie Becker, if they start making plays, it's not going to look good for Bama, and I think it's pretty obvious. But Indiana does have a really good offense, and if they start to get rolling, then they're probably going to win the game, probably handedly, maybe more than a touchdown. But Alabama, I honestly believe in how they are defensively, and I think their offense is better than they've showed. So I'm actually going to take Alabama to cover a 7-point spread. I think this is probably a field goal game, maybe a 4-point game. I think it's probably, again, like 24, 21. You know, kind of the same as Oregon and Texas Tech. I think it's similar matchups. I think it's flustered offenses, really really good defenses, and I think if you can win the turnover battle, and connect on whichever team connects on more explosive plays is going to win the game. And I think that's pretty obvious. That happens in most games, but I think it's especially important in this one because both defenses are good. And I think if say Mendoza connects with Omar Cooper or Charlie Becker on a huge 50-yard play, that would completely change the game, and I think that would give a huge upper hand to Indiana, or vice versa. Maybe Ryan Williams makes a huge play. It would completely change the game. And regarding coaching staffs, I would probably say I trust Cignetti more. I think Cignetti's proved that he's an elite coach, probably top 3 in football right now. But DeBoer, in my opinion, gets too much hate. I feel like now that he's at Bama, people completely forget that at Washington he was like unbelievable. Like he never lost at Fresno or Washington. Like people forget how good of a coach he is. And obviously Ryan Grubb, I think he's still a really good OC. I trust him. But I'm interested to see because I think Alabama covers. I think they make it tough on Indiana to win the game. I think Mendoza gets neutralized. I think Alabama's defense will play well, and in the end, I do think that Indiana will actually create. I think they're going to have a big play, and I think that's going to be the deciding part of the game. So, again, I think Indiana wins. Indiana moves on, but I think Alabama. I believe that they can keep this game within a field goal. So that's my prediction. Comment your guys down below. Like and subscribe to this video. I love to hear your guys' predictions and takes for the games overall. So I'll see you guys in the next one.